Our next question will come from Annie Chestnut for candidate Leonard.
Mike, even apart from the post office, the Butterfield project is potentially the site of new town offices, a more secure courtroom, and possibly a new senior center. It's still mired in Cold Spring reviews. Realizing the large impact on the town, what's your position on this project? Be specific.
Okay, again, this is under the jurisdiction of Cold Spring. This would fall under the Cold Spring trustees, would fall under also Phillipstown Planning and Zoning. Being the chairman of the Phillipstown Planning Board, which I would and do get involved with all areas of the town outside of the villages, I understand their issues they're going through. They're obviously looking at their current code, which is discussed as to what kind of permitted uses are allowed for Butterfield. Some of the recommended uses do not currently fit their standards, and obviously, if that's revised, then obviously you have to take a look at changing the actual code to fit what's desired there. The actual location as to who would move in and so forth, I think, is also being looked at. There are options, but I like the fact that the town board is not just simply waiting for the Butterfield decisions to be made. They have clearly gone and taken a look at other areas, other possible alternatives, and I think that's a healthy thing to do whenever you're taking a look at any topic, to be able to look at alternatives, and then you're able to weigh them instead of going just particularly with one, and then if that doesn't work out or that doesn't seem to be fitting your situation or something changes, now you have to start all over with looking at another location. Whereas if you look at other locations, now you have multiple options for you.
I just want to ask a follow-up on that. What's your personal position on the project itself? Are you in favor of it?
I think it's a good idea because currently the Butterfield Hospital itself obviously is only partially used. Being on also the Board of Assessment. The Board of Assessment, for those who don't realize, is one of the areas in town where we get involved with all the town. Obviously, the Butterfield Hospital came up before the Board of Assessment a few years ago regarding actual evaluation. And it was very clear when you go through that process, as we did with the assessor, that you have to evaluate the current operational need. And then as far as the non-use, there's also decommissioning for the hospital costs and so forth. So I realize by going through that process, there's a lot of work that's going to happen there as well. So until that moves along and you really have a good understanding of exactly what you need to do there, you really, I think, should be also looking at other options.
Kathy?
Thank you. I think it's really important to keep in mind this home rule that it's up to the Village of Cold Spring to decide what goes there. Certainly if I'm chosen to be on town council, I'll be happy to provide my input. Again, I think it's important to make sure that we understand who are the people being served by the facility, not to build a facility for the sake of building a facility. Have any surveys been sent out to the community? Do we have community interest groups? I hear over and over again, we have our seniors. We have different people throughout the community who'll be using the services. New families, what would attract a new family to come to the service? Do they want a post office? I'd like to know if this has already been evaluated properly. And also the changing demographics of our community. Has that been looked into? How long would this facility need to be in place, and what's the size of the facility? Certainly, again, the idea of services are very, very important to people. We want convenience. We work hard all day, many of us. Some of us are retired. I think, again, we want to have a location that is central, that will help serve the community. And certainly the idea of having it at Butterfield, I absolutely 100% support.
John?
Again, this is a village decision, and I don't feel that I should pressure the village at any point from the town level to make a decision. Personally, I do think that there could be some major improvements with the Butterfield property. It's literally the pivot point when you come into the village of Cold Spring on 9D. It's one of the first things you see, and it is getting to a state of disrepair. So again, I will leave these decisions, the village decisions, up to the village boards. Naturally, I would love to see services for seniors here. I think we could use a public health nurse here. I think we could use a rotating DMV, if at least it was once a month. There's a number of services that could be provided. The public health nurse could certainly provide some services for the town. So, but again, this is a village choice, and I will remain out of it.
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. The Butterfield project is potentially the site of new town offices, a more secure courtroom, and a new senior center. It's still mired in Cold Spring reviews. Realizing the large impact on the town, what's your position on this project?
I'm fully in favor of the Butterfield project. Like John said, the first thing you see when you drive into the village is a decaying building with tall grass, and makes you stop and think what could be. I know that the town doesn't have any big influence, or doesn't want to step on the village, but as a big brother in the town, I mean, we are the town of Phillipstown, and Cold Spring is one village within our town. And I think that the town can offer a very strong leadership role as far as getting all parties to the table, to sit down and really hash this out and try to move this project forward. I think if everybody was to do this, the county, the town, the villages, the boards that are involved, the people, the stakeholders, sit at the table and get this done, we can move this forward in a clear and decisive way. The senior center, the post office, consolidated courts, DMV, town and village offices, I mean, no place in this town that we have such a spot that I think we could utilize to make this happen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lee.